This week's Extra Life on F5 Live Refreshing Technology is proudly powered by EXA. EXA brings the latest technology to gamers, offering the most immersive products for the ultimate gaming experience. They've compiled the best elements of cutting-edge ENC tech, the latest in Bluetooth 5.0 and 7.1 surround, plus extra features into their headsets so everyone can enjoy a sensational gaming experience. And they've got headsets for Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC. Plus, they won't break the bank. Learn more about the headsets that are available and any current promotions by going to f5live.tv/exa. So in our downtime, something big happened. The acquisition of Activision Blizzard by Microsoft was finalized, and as such, this year's BlizzCon, which just wrapped up, is an interesting line in the sand. It is the last BlizzCon where what was talked about and what was announced theoretically had no influence from Microsoft, and also the first one under Microsoft's ownership, even though it's only been a couple of weeks. While Microsoft's influence was not yet felt, their presence was, as the head of Xbox was there as part of the opening keynote. Phil Spencer made some references, which may or may not have been offhanded, and almost certainly were casual comments about what is to come under the Microsoft banner. He gave a shout out to StarCraft, which we have not heard anything about in quite some time. He also said Game Pass, but not in any direct or official capacity. And so almost certainly, talking about indicating the inevitability of Blizzard games being available through Game Pass. But what he did do was talk about what he hopes will be a fruitful relationship between Blizzard and Microsoft, and that Blizzard will be able to grow in the way that it did under its own ownership before Activision with Microsoft. But that was all secondary to what BlizzCon is all about, and that's about the games. And lots of stuff was announced. For me and some of the other staff around here, particularly Adam, one of the original hosts of the show, World of Warcraft has lore again. Lore that matters, because we have Chris Metzen back at the helm of story, or so it seems, because they have a long plan for the game, 3-year major story arc, which is fantastic. The Warcraft lore is old. It well predates World of Warcraft. I was a ranked Warcraft 2 player in high school 25 plus years ago. But there was a lot of story behind it. If you played the actual campaign, there was a lot of story in the world. And over the last couple of years, it's not been that much. It's mostly been, hey, look at me. I'm going to tell people to do things. So the story's kind of sucked. It looks like that's not going to be the case, which is great. Overwatch 2 has new heroes coming. We have Mauga, which is the official one. Then that is coming soon. Then we've got 2 more, Venture and Space Ranger that are coming seasons 8 and 10, or 10 and 12, sorry. Diablo 4 has big DLC coming next year, so they're not giving up on that one. What I got from all of this is that Blizzard is both trying again, which it has not quite felt has been the case over the last couple of years, both for the gamers and for Microsoft. I think they tried to put on a big showing of what's to come because they wanted to make sure that, Phil Spencer, who was in the room, was impressed by what was coming, but also that gamers saw that they were committed to the old Blizzard, even though ownership was changing again. That was my big takeaway. And as somebody who has, again, Warcraft 2 was one of my first passion games and got me into true competitive gaming in the 90s. I've long been a fan of Blizzard, and I've felt that under Activision's oversight, they became more Activision-y and less the Blizzard that fans had come to love. But over the last year, Diablo 4 feels like Blizzard, which is great. And it seems like they want that to continue, which I'm very excited about. They, we know they had their troubles, a year and a half ago? They had to let some higher ups go. There was a toxic environment going on that had been there for a while, give or take about the time that there had been content problems within the company. So I think they really wanted to shake all of that off and show that they care. I don't know if you've been following how connected you are with Blizzard, Avram, or how much you've been following this, but
No, not a ton, but I think it's great that they are trying to go back to the core and please the core audience, because that's what they're going to need to do to grow and survive. I don't know, is how is World of Warcraft's growth these days?
it's not been great. Interestingly, from what I can tell, World of Warcraft Classic has actually had more growth, and that's because people miss the old days of the game having story and lore and the original gameplay. So, for those who don't know, World of Warcraft Classic is just the original game. So, what they released nearly 2 decades ago now, but in a modern engine.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of growth over there, and on WoW Prime, not so much. It seems to be pretty stagnant, if not decreasing. There's people like my brother who will always play. People like my high school friend Corey, who will always play. She may come and go from the game, but she will always play. But there's a lot of people that seem to have given it up, either in favor of other games or just getting out of MMOs altogether because they were, disenchanted by what had happened in WoW. But Diablo 4 has been huge. They've done great with it. It has looked like and felt like Diablo, which was fantastic to see. Having a friend on the team, makes me even happier that it looks and feels like the other Diablo games, just, modernized with all the great lore and stuff that Diablo is known for. So it's always good to see a franchise not go, because, it could have gone the Call of Duty way, right? Where we don't really care about story. We don't really care about lore. In the old days, under the original, the founders, Call of Duty was very story driven. And now it's just become a shooter running on the same engine that, nothing really changes from year to year. Oh, there's new maps, but we could have done that without calling it Modern Warfare 3. it's gone. It basically it's gone the way of EA Sports titles, right? It's just an incremental thing we don't care about much, except you buying the new one. And they didn't do that. They could have, and they didn't. So, yeah. But I mean, look at what happened with Overwatch 2. None of the things they promised with Overwatch 2 actually happened, except the shutdown of Overwatch 1. And gamers are really unhappy with how that's gone. And most of Overwatch 2 was done under the tutelage of the people that are gone now. So we may even, who knows, under Microsoft, we may even see the things that were originally promised for Overwatch 2 come to fruition, because it seems like in addition to Blizzard caring about being Blizzard, Microsoft seems to care about Blizzard being Blizzard and not ActiBliz, right? Which, that time period, nobody wanted that to happen, except, you know, Bobby Kotick, who, by the way, will not be with the company after the end of the year, which I think will make everybody at Activision and Blizzard very happy.
Yep, sounds like.
I don't know
Sounds like
anybody inside or outside of the company who's sad about that decision. So, good job, Phil Spencer.
Yep.
But we'll see how all of this goes over the next couple of years. Obviously, game development cycles are not short; they are incredibly long, especially with titles as big as the IP that Blizzard owns that have been around for decades. StarCraft, Warcraft, Diablo, you know, they all originate in the 90s. They've got a lot of history behind them. And, you know, under the right leadership, you know, the next couple of years could look really good. We will see at BlizzCon 2024 what Microsoft's influence starts to look like. What I hope we will not see is, you know, the Funko Popification of Gears of War, which is absolutely something that Microsoft did. Hopefully, you know, Blizzard is supposed to be able to operate semi-independently with influence and resources from Microsoft, and hopefully that will end up with the best of both worlds. Fingers crossed. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of F5 Live Refreshing Technology. If you did, please subscribe to the channel down below, and of course hit the notification bell, because we know that subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. If you've got topics that you'd like us to talk about in the future, please comment them down below. And if you'd like to not follow us on YouTube, there's lots of ways that you can follow along with our content by going to plughitslive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all of the ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.